You could put it in studio mode or something. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to coverage of Pittman baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We've got a clash of the BCSL and the Tri-County Conferences this afternoon on a beautiful, sunny Wednesday afternoon at the Alcyon Park in Pittman. The Maple Shade Wildcats are in town to face the Panthers as Stephen Devaney comes into this game 2 hits shy of 100 in his career. And guess what? He's also starting on the mound, so we could have another 100 milestone this afternoon. Yesterday, Audubon played the Paulsboro Red Raiders and lost 8-4 for the first time in over 15 years, as I only have scheduling stats back to 2008. Anything before that, I don't know, but Audubon was 22-0 going into yesterday, and they came out 22-1. But for Maple Shade this year, they're 5-8 after falling a little bit from their 17-3 record from 2022. A senior-heavy team now gets to hit the reset button and play a different kind of baseball in 2023. Maple Shade is wrapping up their warm-ups, so let's go to the starting lineups for both sides, starting with the Maple Shade Wildcats as coached by Michael Webb. Cole Mulcahy is the shortstop batting leadoff. Aaron Wells is the catcher batting second. Tony Lockenshire is the pitcher batting third. Luke Renteria is the second baseman batting fourth. Alex Morales is the DH batting fifth. The right fielder will be Nate Vesey batting sixth. Nate Vasey, excuse me. Eddie Nusselin will be the first baseman batting seventh. Dom Voiro is the third baseman batting eighth, and Luke Voiro is the center fielder batting ninth. For the Pittman Panthers, as coached by John Hopley, Kyle Kubat leads off the ball game in left field. Braden Sharkey is the center fielder batting second. Stephen Devaney is the starting pitcher batting third. Hudson Rue is the shortstop batting cleanup. Jake Sharrow is the catcher batting fifth. Jude Engstrom, the sophomore, is the first baseman batting sixth. Aiden Stranahan is the third baseman batting seventh. Braden Yordy, is the DH batting eighth. Austin Jackson is in right field batting ninth, and Drew Keefe is at second base, but he will not bat in the order. Coaches and umpires are about to meet at home plate, and this is going to be a good matchup here in the BCSL and Tri-County Conferences this year. Here on May 10th, 2023, this will be my last Pittman home game of the regular season, although we have worked out a deal that if Pittman advances in the playoffs further than Audubon, which as an Audubon fan I don't want that to happen, but God forbid if it does, then we have a deal worked out to broadcast Pittman playoff games in the event that happens. So we're going to take a quick break as the players, captains, and coaches, umpires, they all meet at home plate. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with first pitch and more here from Alcyon Park in Pittman. Here from Alcyon Park, the Maple Shade Wildcats and the Pittman Panthers just about to get underway as they did the New York Yankees tradition of playing the national anthem after the players went on the field. I thought that was a very interesting thing. I don't think I noticed it when they did the Joe Lang Classic or when they did the Woodstown game, but I don't remember them doing starting lineup intros before the Woodstown game. So Stephen Devaney is the right-hander starting on the mound for the Pittman Panthers, already achieving 100 strikeouts in his high school career. Today he approaches a different milestone, 2 hits away from 100 in his high school career. For Pitman, they are in an interesting spot. They're 11-7, 6-1 in the Tri-County Classic Division, coming off of a 6-5 loss to Sterling on the 6th, and yesterday having a 10-6 win over Clayton. They have 3 games left in the regular season after today: Overbrook on the 12th, Pennsville on the 16th, and Delran on the 17th. And for number 1, the right-hander Devaney, the 6'2" junior, 180 pounds, with 36 strikeouts in the 2023 season, 3.39 ERA, just 16 earned runs with 33 innings pitched. He had a 1.52 ERA in his sophomore year, and for Devaney this year, as we said, he got his 100th strikeout in the 10-8 win over Collingswood on the 26th. This is his 8th appearance of the 2023 season. So Maple Shade's going to get this thing squared away with Cole Mulcahy, followed by Aaron Wells, the catcher, and Tony Lockenshire, the pitcher.
Number 14, Cole Mulcahy.
So here is Mulcahy leading off the ball game. Stephen Devaney, the junior right-hander, will get set, and on a beautiful afternoon here in Alcyon Park, the Pittman Panthers take the field versus the BCSL Maple Shade Wildcats. Here we go. First pitch from Devaney is a strike on the outside corner, and we are underway in Pittman. Maple Shade coming into this season 5-8 in the BCSL, which stands for Burlington County Scholastic League, as that one is upstairs 1-1. After going 17-3 last year with a playoff loss to Buna, Maple Shade started out the year 2-5 with their sole wins coming against Riverside and Triton, but they were able to get things back underway, and they won their game yesterday in Florence 14-4. They lost 6-1 to Haddon Heights. They beat lost to Cherokee 13-3. They had a 1-0 win over Pennsauken. They've got 4 games left in the regular season. They play Florence, Burlington City at home, as that one is lofted out towards first. Engstrom, that's going to be a tough play, and he's going to be safe. That one just fell right in between Engstrom and Devaney, and I think that both of them were banking on it running foul, and it did not. So that will be an infield single to lead off the ball game for Mulcahy. So Maple Shade plays Florence and Burlington City, and then plays Robbinsville and New Egypt on the road to close out the season. Runner on first, nobody out for the Wildcats as Devaney looks to get settled in here this afternoon. Upstairs, 1-0. Devaney with 104 career strikeouts in his high school career. Again, we said he achieved that striking out 2 versus Collingswood on April 26th. His last appearance with a full 7 innings and a 5-4 win versus Shalek on the 5th, which I believe was last Friday. But 5-4 win for Pittman over Shalek. Struck out 12 in a 6-inning win versus Clayton back on the 13th, and that's the most strikeouts he's had all year in a single appearance. 23 strikeouts in his freshman year in 2021, 45 in his sophomore year in 2022, and that it might be the weirdest pass ball I've seen. That went halfway up the third base line, and getting a free base will be Mulcahy, so runner on second for Maple Shade. And that'll be a 2-1 count. I mean, you saw that, right? The ball bounced out of Bounced out of the glove of Jake Sharrow and literally rolled 45 feet up the third baseline. That is a weird one, but I tell you, those 8-ounce baseballs, they got some weird physics to them. Here's a ground ball out towards second base, and it's going to trickle in the right field. Playing shallow was Jackson, and that's going to be a base hit for Wells, putting runners on the corners for the Wildcats here early. So getting a hot start here is Webb's Wildcats, bringing up Tony Lockenshire.
Now batting number 17, Tony Lockenshire.
So a single, a passed ball, and another single put Devaney in a bit of a jam with nobody out and Maple Shade having runners on the corners here. To the lefty Lockenshire, that's going to miss inside, 1-0. By the way, for the folks that watch DWB, we will not have a broadcast Friday versus Camden Catholic and Cherry Hill West, as that game has been canceled due to Cherry Hill West's advancement in the Diamond Classic. Because they'll be playing on Saturday down in Deptford, they don't want to play a game on Friday. That would tire out at least one of their pitchers with how things are going, and they don't want to intentionally lose the game for purpose of PowerPoints or rest their starters or anything like that. So 1-1 count. It's just logistically the best thing for them to not play that game, because they will be playing, I want to say, oh boy, I think Bishop Eustace in that, two Olympic Conference rivals right there. I know St. Augustine got knocked out in the Diamond Classic, but Cherry Hill West yesterday beat Buna 7-1 pretty handily down at Corolla Field in Buna to advance. The 1-2 from Devaney, runners going, and that will be without a contest, so stolen base for Wells. And Lockenshire back in it with a 2-2 count. Lockenshire swings and misses, make that strikeout 105 for Stephen Devaney. And he sets down the pitcher to bring up Luke Renteria. Excuse me, Chase Renteria. First strikeout for Devaney. Cleanup man here for Maple Shade this afternoon. So Audubon will be playing Haddonfield in Audubon tomorrow. That game will be at 4 o'clock. And then on Saturday, Audubon will be in Shawnee down in Medford for a 10 o'clock start versus the Renegades. And then on Sunday, we can all sit back and relax because it'll be Mother's Day. And I appreciate my mother who is producing today's game.
I'll take the day off.
Well, you're getting off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so.
I need it.
Oh, I think we all do. The 0-1 pitch. Popped up, third base side and foul. The Diamond Classic Championship is actually going to be here at Alcyon Park, but it'll be covered by BFA Sports, my good friends over at BFA Sports, and Doug Stasic, those great guys over there that I worked with for the Coaches versus Cancer and a couple other tournaments throughout the year. Big shout out to Doug, they'll be over here. Unfortunately, though, it conflicts with an Audubon game, so I don't think I'll be able to make it. Here's a fly ball out to deep left. And it'll be caught out there. No, he dropped the ball. Dropped in left, and that's going to give Maple Shade a run. It's 1-0 Wildcats, as Kyle Kubat might have lost it in, I mean, I can't really blame it on the sun because it's not directed towards him, but that'll be an E7 scoring Mulcahy, and the Wildcats are up to an early 1-0 lead. Runners on first and second for Maple Shade as they're off to an early start for the blue and gold. Strike one to Alex Morales. In a beautiful Wednesday afternoon, forgot my days of the week. Beautiful Wednesday afternoon here in Pittman, 72 degrees with wind blowing to the west at 7 miles per hour, low humidity, clear skies. There's the 0-1, nope. Gonna step off here. There's another one, 0-2. After this would be Nate Vasey. Devaney kicks and deals. That one is outside, 1-2. One thing I love about Alcyon Park is you see people walking behind you down in the trails over here. It's a perfect combination of facilities, complexes, and nature. You've got trees all around and good parking. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of parking lots down here. It's the perfect combination of leisure and industry, if you will. That's going to be a strike looking to retire Morales, and Devaney has recorded both strikeouts via the K.
Now batting number 34.
And this is going to bring up Nate Vasey, the right fielder here for the Wildcats. First three for Pittman in the bottom half of the first will be Kyle Kubat, the left fielder, Braden Sharkey, the center fielder, and Stephen Devaney, the pitcher. There's a strike, 0-1. Yeah, Pittman had their senior night on the same night that I had my junior-senior prom down at Lucian's Manor in Berlin. They played Shalek. That was that 5-4 win that Stephen Devaney had his last appearance in. And they only had to honor one senior because they've only got one senior on the entire roster, and that's Braden Yorty. So, I mean, really, this is a young team, and, you know, you look at the fact that they had that state title for Group 1 in 2010. Pittman and Audubon are both Group 1 schools in South Jersey. But here's a line drive off of Engstrom's glove and trickles in the right field, picked up by Jackson, coming around third, and coming in to score is going to be Wells, and it's 2-0 Maple Shade. So that ball just took a really bad bounce off of Engstrom's glove and ended up rebounding for Miles in the right field, and that's going to put runners on the corners for Maple Shade with 2 down as they've jumped out to an early lead as the lefty Eddie Nusslein will come in here for the Wildcats. But yeah, Audubon and Pittman are both Group 1 schools, but they're vastly different in size if you look at the number of students, the number of athletes that they have, the range that goes between Group 1 and Group 2 and then Group 3 to Group 4. It changes a lot. You look at some Group 4 or 3 schools and they look like community colleges. And have you ever seen the High School Musical film with, what's his name? Zac Efron. Yes, Zac Efron. If you've ever seen that movie, that is what I equate to a New Jersey Group 4 school. But at the same time, by the way, count as 1-1 to Nusslein. One of the things about Jersey is that even New Jersey's largest schools pale in comparison to some of the large high schools that you see in Texas and California, even in Philadelphia. They say everything's bigger in Texas, but a Group 4 school in Jersey would be a relatively mid-range sized school in Texas or in Florida or in California, one of those states. So Jersey's pretty lucky. They're the most condensed population in terms of states, but going down to second base, that's going to be a free base for Vasey, and it's 2-2. But it's interesting to see that, you know, like in terms of New Jersey being so small yet so densely populated, you see, you know, like the North Jersey schools and everything like that, and then just how vast and open it gets. As there's a fly ball to left, and Kubat will redeem himself to catch the ball and to retire the side. Kubat will lead off the bottom of the first, but Panthers, they got some work to do. It's 2-0 Maple Shade. Here in the bottom of the first, Maple Shade got off to a 2-0 start. Pittman will look to remedy that in the bottom half, as the starter for Maple Shade will be the lefty Tony Lockentor. He has a 3.27 ERA in 15 innings with 15 strikeouts, 7 earned runs, 9 walks, had a 3.82. There's Tom McCarthy's pre-recorded voice there, introducing the Pittman batter to lead off the game, Kyle Kubat, here for the Panthers. For Lockentor, this is his 8th appearance of the year. Last pitched on Friday versus Cherokee in a 13-3 loss. Had 2 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, no strikeouts, and 2 walks. First pitch is a strike to Kubat. The starting lineup for the Panthers, with Hopley being the head coach here this afternoon. Kyle Kubat in left field, leading off. Braden Sharkey in center field, batting second. Stephen Devaney is the pitcher, batting third. Hudson Rue is the shortstop, batting fourth. Jake Sharrow is the catcher, batting fifth. Jude Engstrom is the first baseman, batting sixth. Aiden Stranahan is the third baseman, batting seventh. Braden Yordy is the DH, batting eighth. Austin Jackson is the right fielder, batting ninth. And Drew Keefe is the second baseman, but he will be defense only. 1-2 count to Kubat. Maple Shade brought 7 batters up to the plate in the first, as that one skips away to the backstop. Could be a drop third strike, and that will be. How about that for some efficient base running? That's what you do at the leadoff spot. Even if you swing and miss, he got a free base out of it. And that will still count as a strikeout for Lockentor, but it will count as a KD on the scorecard. As here is Braden Sharkey. So yeah, I mean, we were talking about during the Joe Lang class of how we were like, who is this public address announcer? He sounds so great, and I never put 2 and 2 together until I asked Coach Hopley a couple weeks ago, who is this guy in the public address booth? I want to hire him. And then he told me, oh, one of the parents got Tom McCarthy to pre-record the voices of the starting lineups. So, it's excellent. Really something special. But 2-0 count. They have those things now for like celebrities called Cameo. I think you've seen some of that maybe,
yeah.
Where you can pay a celebrity to kind of read off like what you want. What maybe it's a birthday wish, maybe it's something for a meme or some comic relief or something like that. But you can actually, like, I don't know, pay John Travolta $250 to wish your third cousin a happy birthday or something like that, if you have the money to. But 3-1.
Might be a service next year for DWB to pre-record opening lineups.
I wish, but I don't have that kind of notoriety in me yet. The 3-1, here's a ground ball, high chopper to third, picked up, throw down to second base is in time, and at first base, safe as Sharkey. So a 5-4 put out on a fielder's choice, as Voiro was able to make that play with ease. And here's Stephen Devaney. 1 away, and a runner on first base for Pittman. Devaney followed by Hudson Rue here for the Panthers, as Maple Shade leads 2-0. Here's the first pitch from the lefty. High and away, 1-0. That one is also away, 2-0. Pittman's sole loss in the Tri-County Classic Division, as they are, as we said, 6-1 this year. Here's a ground ball that's going to shoot through the middle in the center field, a base hit. And that's going to put runners on first and second following the single by Devaney. That puts him at 99 career hits. And this brings up Hudson Rue. So Pittman's got a runner in scoring position here with 1 down, as they look to get their first runs on the board. Strike 1 from Lockentor. In the dirt, everybody's going to move up, and another passed ball ends up hurting somebody, as Devaney and Sharkey both move up on the base paths, and that's going to put runners on second and third for the Panthers. One away and a 1-1 count to Rue, the shortstop, followed by Jake Sharrow in the on-deck circle. 2-1. Here's a ground ball out to short. Throw to first. That's in time, and Pittman gets a run. It's 2-1. Panthers strike back on a 6-3 ground out, and both teams have plated a run here in the first, but Maple Shade's got the early edge. It's 2-1. Pittman's going to have a pinch runner here at third.
Jake Sharrow.
So Jake Sharrow, the catcher, batting here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Outside and a bit high. I'd say it was more than a bit outside, considering that Wells really had to get out of the crouch there to prevent the baseball from going to the backstop. So 6 one way, half a dozen another. There's the ball. 2-0. I mean, best thing Pittman can do here is try to level the score with 2 outs and that runner on. You want your top half of the order to have that key production, because you don't want the bottom half of the order to have to rely on doing all of the work. They don't want them to be all responsible. I'm sure that Yordi, Stranahan, Engstrom, and Jackson are all great hitters, but you know, you want your star power ball players to do most of the heavy lifting. You don't want to have to be behind. So it's going to be 2-2 here to Sharrow, with a runner on third and nobody out, with Devaney being pinch run for at third with 2 outs. He'll be getting ready to go back on the mound here. Again, that single earlier in the first inning got him his 99th career hit as a junior. I mean, his freshman year was in 2021, so being a varsity starter all 3 years. Here's a fly ball hit well out to center field, but out there is Voiro, and he makes the catch. Pittman strands a runner on third, but gets one home. We go to the second, 2-1 Maple Shade. Top of the second here, Stephen Devaney gave up 2 runs in the first, but looks to rebound here as Pittman got a run back in the bottom half as Hudson Rue had an RBI single to center. It's the first pitch, ground ball, out to second, picked up by Keith. Throw to first is in time, and there's one down. And this will bring up Luke Voiro, the center fielder.
Now batting number 10, Luke Voro.
Oh, 1 to Voro, the left-handed hitting center fielder. Got a piece of it. It's 0-2. And there's a strikeout, so good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Voro down on strikes, and that's the third K for Devaney. Bringing up back to the top of the order, Cole Mulcahy.
Cole Mulcahy.
They had a single to lead off the ball game, which helped Maple Shade's early rally. There's a strike, 0-1. I think Devaney's kind of always had this thing where he's maybe needed to get a little bit in the groove in the first inning and then came back and was able to rebound in the middle innings and has really been excellent in his ventures in the middle innings, like from 3 to 4 to 5.
You see that with some of our starting pitchers in Audubon.
In Audubon as well, yeah. You just see where sometimes they need an inning to figure out the kinks and intricacies of baseball. But here's a ground ball out to third, picked up, and a bobble at third. So that'll be an E5 against Stranahan. And a free base for Mulcahy sets it up for Aaron Wells here with 2 down. Maple Shade not nearly in his prime of a position to pull something off, though.
30, Aaron Wells.
As here is Wells. He also singled his first time. There's a strike, 0-1. Here's a line drive, and it's caught at Rue at short, and the inning is over. Maple Shade leaves a runner on first. We go to the bottom of the second, 2-1. Maple Shade leads. Bottom of the second here from Pittman as they'll look to get another run on the board and tie up the game, if not take the lead, as it'll be for the Panthers. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. Engstrom, Stranahan, and Yordi due up for Pittman here. As they scored one in the bottom half of the first, thanks to a single by Hudson Rue, but not really a whole lot since then.
Now batting for Pittman, number 34, Jude Engstrom.
So here's Jude Engstrom. He had a walk-off single versus Gateway in the Joe Lang Classic opener, which was an 8-inning game versus Gateway. That was one of the better games that I've live streamed all year, really, as that one's upstairs. It's 1-0. It looked like Pittman was going to win the game, and then Gateway tied it, and just nobody seemed like they wanted to win the game. It was just neck and neck,
Yeah.
and that's a foul ball off towards the parking lot. It's 1-1. But in the bottom of the 8th inning, there was a line drive to center field. Engstrom, earlier in the at-bat, it was an 0-1 count. He went to go for a sacrifice bunt, and he missed it, completely whiffed it. And then on the next pitch, came back around, lined a single in the center. The Gateway center fielder bobbled it and allowed the winning run to score. And then Pittman played in the finals game versus Gloucester, but lost 8-3, as that one is upstairs. Quickly 3-1 to Engstrom. Here's a fly ball to center field, and that'll be taken in by Voro. 1 down. Stranahan coming up now. Stranahan followed by the only senior in the lineup for the Panthers this afternoon, Braden Yordi. Upstairs 1-0. One. There's a bullet out to left. It's hit well, and it is over the head of the left fielder for Maple Shade, as that one's going to go to the wall, and it'll be a 1-out double for Stranahan, as it just got past their man out there, and it's going to bring up Braden Yordi. So with Kaliamunis out there and left, just made a diving effort and couldn't hang on. 1-0 to Yordi, the number 8 hitter in the order for Pittman. Fly ball popped up sky high over the infield. Who's got it? It'll be the third baseman, Mr. Dom Voiro, comes down with it. And Yordi's retired. This brings up Austin Jackson. Excuse me, Jackson Austin. I wrote that down. There is a former MLB outfielder who played for the Tigers for a while and the White Sox named Austin Jackson. This is Jackson Austin.
Number 7, Jackson Austin.
So, Jackson Austin, I have to feel like I'm reading that backwards. He's up here for the Panthers with 2 down and a runner on second. Takes upstairs 1-0. A bit of a cricket pitch there, misses low, and it's 2-0. On deck, if the inning continues, is Kyle Kubat, who reached first base on a dropped third strike his first time. And that's going to be a 4-pitch walk. Almost grazed Austin, but he's able to get to first, and that puts runners on first and second for Pittman, bringing up Kubat. Upstairs, 1-0. There's a line drive high and deep to left. It is gone! 3-run home run, Kyle Kubat. And that's going to give Pittman a big lead here in the bottom of the second inning, as Kubat rockets one over the left field fence. And he is met at home plate with the cheers of his teammates. Kubat makes it 4-2 Panthers. Wow. Cleared the left field fence with authority. And here is Sharkey. As soon as that left the bat, I was thinking for sure that that was gone, and no doubt about it, as, wow.
Fans are loving it here.
Alcyon Park goes into a frenzy after the 3-run shot by Kubat. It's 4-2. And what's really funny is that we've seen more home runs in feature games that we've seen than
home games.
Than Audubon home games, Audubon games in general. Audubon's only had 1 home run in its entire regular. That was Wiltsey versus Cinnaminson. Speaking of, we've got a couple DWB features left on the leisure this season, as it's a quick 3-0 count to Sharkey, or excuse me, 3-1. That one's a high fly ball in the shallow right. Going over for it and making the catch will be Renteria to retire the side. But Kyle Kubat launches a 3-run home run to left without a doubt. It's 4-2 Pittman. Here in the top of the third, Pittman leads 4-2 after a 3-run shot to left by Kyle Kubat. Devaney back out there. And the first pitch is a ball. There's a fly ball out to deep left, going back Kubat, and that's going to drop, and it's going to hit off the 310 sign, going to second base, and getting in there, standing up, is going to be number 9, who I don't have on my roster, so that's going to be Jason Garwood. So he's got a double. And this brings up Renteria, who caught the last out of the second. Bless you.
Thank you.
Allergies getting to you this time of year.
Well, we're sitting under a bunch of trees. So
Yeah, that doesn't help. So Pittman, in what has been a high-scoring game to start, Kyle Kubat with a home run to left. Estimated distance, 355 feet on that ball to left. Over the fence and over near the light towers. I'd love to see a Pittman game here at night. I've heard it's absolutely beautiful at night. We were supposed to cover Collingswood and Pittman for the Thank You Classic, but then that game went on because of Timber Creek and Audubon running so long that we couldn't make it down in time, and then we realized the game started 45 minutes late. We could have made it, and then the game ended up being a really good one. So it's what it is, though. I mean, the rest of the tournament was canceled, so it's what it is, really. 1-0 count to Renteria. I got to figure out everything on my batting order because I think what they did is they pinch hit Garwood for Lockentire because they took out Lockentire out of the game, and I guess that's who they put in, Jason Garwood. So my apologies there. Everything was going so fast and I didn't see it.
That's it, you're fired.
Oh boy. That's a foul ball, 1-1. Two and one. Renteria and then Alex Morales, the DH, batting here in the third.
They're an MLB player with Renteria in their name.
The former White Sox manager, Rick Renteria, you might know him.
Okay.
And the former, he played for almost everybody, but the former Cardinal shortstop in the late 90s, early 2000s, Edgar Renteria.
That's who I'm thinking
That's who you're thinking
of?
Okay, yeah. He was a one of those players that I call Hall of Very Good. Not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, but still had a very respectable career, almost 2,000 hits. Helped the Marlins win the World Series in '97 and then was traded away for pennies on the dollar later that year. But a strikeout for Devaney. That is his 4th of the afternoon, bringing up Morales. Oh, that one hit him in the shoulder. So that'll be a hit by pitch, putting runners on first and second for Maple Shade. As soon as they got ahead, it fell apart as Pittman's home run from Kubat, the junior, which is his first as a high schooler. He's had 5 extra base hits, but that was his first long ball. Across 3 years of play, 3 at-bats in 2021, 26 in 2022, and 47 this year. That's a line drive caught by Rue. Throw to second is in time, and it'll be a 6-4 double play take that glove and dip it in gold. That's a web gem right there from Hudson Rue, and the side is retired. He's made a couple of great plays this afternoon. We go to the bottom of the third, 4-2 Pittman. Pittman up by 2 going to the bottom of the third. This broadcast is brought to you in part by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling Carmine Rampolla at 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. Fouled over down the first base line into the circle, and it's going to keep on rolling. That's how far the baseball went over near the trash can. It really took a couple of big bounces.
It went past the circle.
Yeah, the circle. I almost called it a cul-de-sac, and then I realized that's not what you call a cul-de-sac.
That's
So
a famous
too.
Jersey circle.
Yes. Just as notorious as jug handles in the state. The 0-2 is going to be upstairs. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Pittman as Devaney, 1 hit away from 100, which I did not know about Paulsboro's players yesterday who hit 100 hits, about Henkel hitting 100 strikeouts, and the other guy, I forget his name, the other guy who had 100 hits.
Yeah.
I think that was Hunter Zubak. He had 100 hits. Pittman played Paulsboro back on the 14th, and there's number 100. Stephen Devaney with a line drive to left. He's 2 for 2, and with triple digits for number 1 as a junior. Keep that baseball. Stephen Devaney hugs his first base coach. 100 hits for Stephen.
And they'll save that ball for him.
They will. I mean, Maple Shade giving that ball in. Parents standing down the first base line. This is a huge accomplishment for Stephen. He's a great fella, great guy. And that was just announced over the public address system. Cars are honking. Savor the moment, Stephen. You may not get another one like that in your life. It means a lot to these players to achieve a milestone like that after years and years of hard work. Especially on a winning team like this. It takes so much work to be a varsity starter on your freshman year, let alone be consistently good for 3 years in a row to achieve 100 hits. So congratulations to Stephen on that milestone. And I guess Garwood might have not been happy with him getting the time because he tried throwing over to first and picking him off. He does have a good lead though, so might solicit a throw a little bit, but it's 0-1 to Rue. Popped up first base side over towards the corner. Going over. Morales tried to make the catch, but it just missed the grandstands. You could hear a couple shrieks out there from worried parents. They didn't know what to do. Do you run, hide, defend? Those kind of situations are always funny. Just at the expense of others. Here's the 0-2. Outside corner. And Rue is down on strikes, bringing up Jake Sherrow.
Jake Sherrow.
1 away, runner on first for Pittman as the catcher Sherrow is up. He flew out to center field to end the first. Strike one. A couple of feature games left on the leisure for the DWB crew. Next Tuesday, we have the Buna Chiefs and the Cinnaminson Pirates. Big thanks to Eric Teasdale for helping me out on that one. That'll be a BCSL and Cape Atlantic League clash over in Cinnaminson. 3:45 start time. Safe at first on the pickoff attempt. And then on the 23rd, the day after the Group 1 playoffs begin, that will be a game between the Pennsgrove Red Devils and the Gloucester City Lions down in Gloucester. It'll be Gloucester Senior Day. Doesn't exactly count towards power points because the playoffs will have already began, but because we were supposed to live stream Pennsville versus Gloucester back on the 21st, that'll be added to the schedule to be able to get Gloucester a feature game of their own that is not Audubon. Oh, wow, the ball just skipped away in the infield. It got past the pitcher Garwood, but Devaney didn't move. So he'll be able to rebound from that and get back to it. One count to Sherrow. One down and a runner on first. Pittman leads by 2. That one's a cricket pitch, and Devaney's going to get down to second base. The throw is high, and it sails, but no, he brought it down. The second baseman didn't have it, but the shortstop, okay, he did. And they salvaged Devaney from getting any further, so he advances to second on the wild pitch. High and away, 3-1. That one's going to be low and going to third as Devaney. It'll trickle out towards the end of the infield, but a walk to Sherrow and a wild pitch puts runners on the corners here for Pittman. Here's Jude Engstrom. I love Engstrom's walk-up song.
Yes, I do too.
I believe either Gene Segura or Odubel Herrera, one of the former Phils, had that song. So,
well, thankfully viewers can't see me dancing to the walk-up music.
Running at first for Sherrow will be number 17, Trevor Leach. So Leach on first, Devaney on third, and Jude Engstrom trying to get ahead here and give Pittman another run to make this a 3-run lead. Up and in, 1-0. Don't forget to follow our Twitter page at DW Broadcasting for more updates on where I'll be at any given time, on feature games, stats and updates, schedules, everything like that. You can all find it on our Twitter page at DW Broadcasting.
Yeah, even I have to go there to find out where you're going to be.
1-1 count to Engstrom with runners on the corners for Pittman. Going down to second, Trevor Leach is going to get in there without a problem, and he gets a stolen base. So runners on second and third as Pittman looks to push the envelope a little further. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Trevor Leach on second base and Stephen Devaney on third base, as Pittman looks to get another run home. Here's a ground ball out to second base, picked up by Renteria, and the throw to first is in time, but Pittman gets a run home, and it's 5-2. RBI ground out, Jude Engstrom, and Pittman leads by 3.
Batting for Pittman, number 24, Aiden Stranahan.
Stranahan doubled to lead off the bottom of the second inning, came around to score on that home run by Kubat. As Garwood in a bit of trouble here. First pitch down and away, 1-0. One. 2-1. Grounder, foul. Stranahan, 6'1" sophomore. Boy, did he grow quickly. 2 for 3 on the young campaign. Had a single in a 10-6 win versus Clayton on the 8th, but that was the only other appearance that he had. So this is just his second game of the season. He's already batting .667. That's going to be a walk. So that'll increase the on-base percentage a little bit more, and it puts runners on the corners here for Braden Yordy, who popped out to third his first time.
Number 5, Braden Yordy.
See, the funny thing is that doesn't sound like Tom McCarthy when he's on play-by-play. It sounds like Tom McCarthy, like, modifying his voice a little bit to do public address.
He's doing the PA there, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't normally hear him doing the PA.
Yeah, we don't hear that from Tom, so. And what's really funny is that Tom McCarthy, actually, when his career started back in the mid-2000s, he started out working with the Mets.
Really?
He was a Mets radio announcer, and then he moved over to the Phillies and was working radio there until Harry Callis passed away, and he took over for him and has been there ever since. And now his son, Pat McCarthy, was working with the Phillies radio, and now is, he was with the TV folks down at Lehigh Valley with the Iron Pigs, and now he is working for the Mets radio. So, full circle there, but wild pitch. Holding up at third is Devaney, and holding up at first is Stranahan. So, still runners on the corners here, and a 1-1 count to Yordy. .6'2" senior, batting .163 in 2023, 7 for 43, 1 extra base hit, 7 walks, 3 hit by pitches. Had 2 hit games versus Clayton and versus Wildwood. I do find it funny that Wildwood is in the Tri-County Classic division when they are so far away from everybody else. They might as well be in the Cape Atlantic League, but I think that Cape Atlantic has some larger schools, so maybe that's why. Wildwood High School is, if you thought Audubon was small and you thought Pittman was small, Wildwood is smaller than all of them.
Wow.
Because not a lot of people live down there.
No.
It's a lot of tourists, and when
Shoobies.
Shoobies?
That's what you call them, shoobies.
What does that mean?
It's people like us who come down there in the summer.
You can just call them tourists.
No, but nobody says tourists in New Jersey. They call them shoobies.
Oh, wow. We're going to have Garwood throw down to second base, and Some bad base running by Stranahan end up ending the inning for Pittman. We go to the 4th. Pittman gets a run. It's 5-2 Panthers.
Leading off the top of the 4th, number 0.
Trivia time here in the top of the 4th inning as we're coming back here in a 5-2 Pittman lead over Maple Shade. Today's question is, who hit the famous pinch hit home run in the 2008 NLCS that helped the Phillies beat the Dodgers and advance to the World Series? Is it Jason Nix, Matt Stairs, Jeff Jenkins, or Pedro Feliz? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. Beautiful shot of the water tower there that overlooks Laurel Ave and the Pittman Grove area, which is where I have some family that live. And is what drew me to Pittman baseball is the fact that Alcyon Park is so beautiful, and also the community is so nice, so just filled with joy and energy. I haven't really seen a single person that looks miserable in Pittman. I mean, everybody seems to love this town. Everybody knows everybody, and
It's small town feel, just like Audubon.
yeah, and I mean, Audubon and Pittman, I think, are a little bit different, considering that Pittman is even smaller than Audubon, and Pittman's a little bit older and has a little bit more history, but that doesn't really separate the two. I think that just with Pittman, I've been here for 4 games in Pittman, and these fans have treated me like they've known me for 20 years. It's really been an incredible sight to see. So big thanks to the Pittman baseball community. I look forward to being back in 2024. As there's a strikeout. Nussling down on strikes as Dom Voro will be up.
So not baseball related, but I've got an interesting story for you about the Shoobies.
The Shoobies?
I've known it's been called Shoobies for a long time.
See, I was talking about during the break, before you continue, about the Bennies.
Yes.
The Bayonne, Elizabeth, Newark, and New Yorkers who come down to the South Jersey shores and spoil a lot of fun. But about the Shoobies?
So the Shoobies was originated in the late 1800s.
Right.
It derives from day trippers taking the train from to the New Jersey beaches.
Here's a ground ball that's going to skip through in the left field for a base hit for Voro. And that'll put a runner on first for Maple Shade. So they were day trippers that went down to the shore.
Yeah, they took the train
Okay.
to the New Jersey beaches, with their ticket price included a box lunch that was packed in a shoebox.
Oh.
That's how the Shoobies came to be known.
That is interesting. I didn't know that, honestly.
Yeah.
I would have thought that it had to do with... I actually don't know. I don't have a comeback for that. I mean...
Like, I had to look it up because I said it. I'm like, Shoobies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the right term.
Here's a ground ball on a bunt back to the mound. Throw to first is in time. And a successful sacrifice. Moving Voro up to second base, so... That's going to bring us back to Cole Mulcahy at the top of the order.
I think we actually saw part of the old train tracks when we take the Cape May Whale Watcher.
Yes,
We
you
see
see
all the-
some of those at the end of the shore.
Yeah, they're not using those tracks anymore, but I remember hearing that story before.
Here's Cole Mulcahy back to the top of the order for Maple Shade. He's reached base twice today, as a single and a walk so far. Devaney steps off. Mulcahy, a freshman, batting leadoff for Maple Shade. That's surely a good feat there, as here's a bunt. Back to first. Engstrom picks it up. Devaney goes to cover the bag, and he does so beautifully to retire the side. Maple Shade leaves a runner on second and nothing more. We go to the bottom of the fourth, 5-2 Pittman. Here in the bottom of the fourth, it's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, who hit the famous pinch hit home run in the 2008 NLCS that helped the Phillies beat the Dodgers and advance to the World Series? Is it Jason Nix, Matt Stairs, Jeff Jenkins, or Pedro Feliz? Producer, what's your pick?
I know who it is. It's Matt Stairs.
And that is correct. Matt Stairs, if you know anything about Phillies history in the past 20 years, you would know Matt Stairs is the correct answer, and that'll pop up on screen as we go to the main board, and Pittman will go up to the plate here in the bottom of the fourth, up by 3 runs, largely in part due to a 3-run shot off the bat of Kyle Kubat, as a swing and a miss leads off the fourth from Jackson Austin. There's a strike, 0-2. Excuse me, Braden Yordy's at the plate because there was a base running mistake that ended the third as a looper in the center field. Braden Yordy's 8th hit as a senior is a looper. And it puts a runner on first here for the Panthers with nobody out on the leadoff.
Now back for Pittman. Number 7, Jackson Austin.
Here's Jackson Austin. He walked and came around to score on Kubat's homer. Showing bunt and missing it is Austin. There's a ball, 2-0. Pitch. He bunts, and it'll be a pop-up foul over towards the third baseline. 2-1 count, and a fly ball got under it, but it's going to be directly in center, and it's going to drop in front of the Wildcats. There were 4 men going for the same real estate, and they all came up empty-handed. So a single for Jackson Austin puts runners on first and second for Kubat, who launched a 3-run home run to left in the bottom of the second inning. His first career high school home run. As he's got the Bryson Stott walk-up music.
Which we heard so much last year.
Yeah, I know, going to so many Phillies games.
Yeah.
I think the next Phillies game I go to is going to be my 70th Major League game. So
Wow.
From 2010 to the present day. I mean, you're responsible for most of that. You bought the tickets. I only got my license in November, so I didn't really have much control before that.
You went to 1 game on your own so far, though.
I know I went with a friend of mine, yeah, back in July. Cubs Phillies, just before we left for California.
No, I mean you driving to a Phillies game.
I have not done that yet.
You did. You took Matt and 2 other kids.
Oh, right, that was a
That
couple
was your
weeks ago,
first
yeah.
time driving there yourself.
Which is fine. It's the easiest part about driving into Philly. You go over a bridge, make a couple rights, and boom, you're there. Although the funny thing was, as the count is 3-0 to Kubat, maybe they're a little bit scared about him after that home run. One of the funny things about that is that we were so used to getting the premium parking that I pulled into the lot, and they were like, "Oh no, this is premium parking. You can't park there." And so I went around the other side, and they told me, "Oh yeah, lot M and N over there." So I couldn't find M and N. I could only find the lot P. And I'm like, "Well, you paid for the parking, so I'm not gonna settle for less." And it was just a real fun exchange because
Yeah, that lot's only for handicap.
you would be yelling at me the whole way. Oh, it's like VIP parking. But we're going to have a Parole's printing pitching change here in the bottom of the 4th. Garwood is out with runners on first and second for the Panthers. As new pitcher for Maple Shade will be number 14, Mr. Cole Mulcahy. So we'll have a couple changes here, and we'll go to a quick break. Pittman leads 5-2 with nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Cole Mulcahy, the new pitcher for Maple Shade, with 2 on and nobody out, as Pittman looks to extend their lead. It's a 5-2 ball game with Pittman in front. Here's the first pitch. Braden Sharkey, and here goes the runner to the plate, and he will score standing up. So Yordi comes around, and it is 6-2 the Panthers. So a 1-0 count and the wild pitch getting Yordi home. moving Jackson Austin up to second. Or excuse me, moving Kubat to second base and Jackson Austin to third. So runners on second and third for Pittman. And a 1-1 count. Here's a ground ball out towards short. It's going to be picked up. Throw to first is a wide throw, and he got pulled off the bag. Eddie Nussling couldn't hold on to it, and that's going to put runners on first and third, scoring Austin, making it 7-2.
Number 1, Stephen Devaney.
Here's Stephen Devaney now. 2 for 2, had his 100th hit back in the third inning, came around to score. So he bats again. Foul ball by Devaney. They'll go off towards the circle. Don't forget, folks, for DWB this week, no game on Friday. We were originally going to cover Camden Catholic and Cherry Hill West, but that was canceled due to the Diamond Classic, which will be on Saturday, 11 and 2 p.m. at Deptford High School. My good friends over at BFA Sports will be covering that game and the semifinals and the finals for the Diamond Classic. And we'll have Audubon and Haddonfield on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Throw to first, nothing going on there. Audubon and Haddonfield at 4 o'clock in Audubon, and then Audubon and Shawnee down in Medford at 10 a.m. on Saturday. It's a good thing you're not producing that game because you are not a morning person.
No.
It's a good thing you get to sleep in. You get to watch from home if you get up for breakfast. Foul ball by Devaney. Over towards the right side again, and it's 0-2. I love the Pittman dugout. All high school baseball dugouts are hilarious. They're like the personification of a Jeff Dunham puppet. Here's the throw down to second base. Not in time. Stolen base. So moving over to second is Sharkey. Runners on second and third for Pittman. Whoa, that one is about a country mile high, coming to the plate and scoring with ease, and almost flying into the dugout is going to be Kubat, and it's going to be 8-2. Kubat came flying home at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he almost actually hit the chain link fence that brought him to the dugout. My goodness. That was funny. It's 8-2. A 2-2 count is struggling a little bit is Mulcahy. And a 3-2 count. Mulcahy kicks and deals. And Devaney sends a fly ball into right center field. He's going to be 3 for 3. It'll drop in front of the right fielder, coming to the plate and scoring is Sharkey. And that will make it 9-2 on a double, hit number 101 for Devaney. So he broke his expectations and then some. And still, with no outs, Pittman has scored 4 runs. So Rue, the cleanup shortstop, I just think about sometimes with the stories that I tell on the broadcast every once in a while and how absurd I sound sometimes, but then I realize I'm not Rube Waddell. Have you ever heard of Rube Waddell?
No.
He is possibly the most interesting baseball player that almost nobody has ever heard of. He was a pitcher back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, late 1800s.
I was gonna say I'm not that old.
But Devaney gets to third base on a stolen base, and it's 1-0. So Waddell pitched, I believe, like in the mid 1890s, and he pitched for about 10 years. And we think that he may have had like a severe case of ADHD, because he would show up late to games because he would go fishing with friends. He would run off the pitcher's mound several times during his start to go look at fire trucks that were passing by. Like, so what Waddell would do is that he would be like ready to go, he would be set, and then he would just stop. And he would run off the mound, because the Pittsburgh Stadium used to be almost like what Wrigley is, where and he would run to the fence and watch the fire trucks go by. He once, there's a walk to Rue. There was once a time where he, back when betting was, first of all, well, like sports betting today is a lot different than how it was 100 years ago. He used to play poker before games. And the funny thing is that while all of his teammates would drink, because this was before the time of prohibition, he was a clean soul, never had a single drop of alcohol in his life. And, oh, the throw over to first, he's going to be out. Rue got picked off, and that's going to be the first out of the inning. Rue, I don't think knows he's out yet, and I think now he finally just got the memo that he was retired. So
Just leaves a man on third?
Yeah, just leaves a man on third for Pittman here in a 9-2 ball game. Pittman leads handily by 7 runs over the Wildcats of Maple Shade. There's a pitch. There's a strike. 0-1. So yeah, it was, he would also be found before the game when he was supposed to warm up. He would be found climbing trees and trying to chase down squirrels and everything like that. And this is a real player. If you look him up on Wikipedia, Rube Waddell.
Who did he play for?
He played for Pittsburgh mostly. I believe he may have had a stopover in Philly, but now I'll have to look him up. The count is 0-2 to Sherrow.
He wouldn't have made it with the new pitch clock.
He wouldn't. I don't think he would have made it anyway. But 1-2. He played for the Louisville Colonels from 1897 to 1899. Played for the Pirates from 1900 to 1901. And in 1901, he also played for a team called the Chicago Orphans, which were later renamed to the Cubs. Who names their baseball team the Chicago Orphans? That's outside. 2-2. He was in Philly. He was with the Philadelphia Athletics from 1902 to 1907, and then the St. Louis Browns, which later became the Baltimore Orioles from 1908 to 1910. And you know what's funny? Despite all of this, in 1905, he won the Triple Crown. He was a 2-time ERA leader and a 6-time AL strikeout leader.
Wow.
And he's a Hall of Famer. Sherrow is down on strikes. First K for Mulcahy, and here is Engstrom now. So 2 down. After the pickoff and the strikeout, Pittman leads by 7. But just really a quintessential baseball story. Some guy that you've never heard of from the 1800s being a Hall of Famer and being a wacky guy. Pop up to right. Oh, and a slide, but couldn't get there. From the right fielder, Nate Veazey, he gets up okay. He pops right back up and just couldn't make the play. But a really valiant effort to go for that baseball in a 7-run game. You know, most right fielders, I think, maybe wouldn't give it 110%, but he gave it 120%, that's for sure. It's 0-1. There's the ball, 1-1. So there is a Rube Waddell story that can be connected to South Jersey, because I'm now in a rabbit hole in the middle of the game where I'm reading his Wikipedia page. In 1903, when he had 302 strikeouts in 1903, in an era where batters were dominant, where pitchers were more of a placeholder, if anything, he started the season sleeping in a firehouse in Camden, New Jersey, and ended it tending a bar in a saloon in Wheeling, West Virginia. In between those events, he won 22 games for the Philadelphia Athletics. So that was one of the quotes from The Stain of Guilt, which was a book that was written posthumously about Rube. And so there's your South Jersey connection to a random guy that I brought up in the middle of the broadcast. He slept in a firehouse in Camden. Angstrom reaches on a walk, bringing up Shanahan, who is the 9th batter of the inning for Pittman. But during all of these broadcasts, I've always wanted to bring up Rube Waddell because he is my baseball hero, climbing up trees, chasing fire trucks, and being late for games because he plays poker. Yeah, that was during a time where, like, Al Capone, maybe this was before Al Capone's time, but, like, where gambling and, like, hustling on the streets, you know, that was more of a gangster thing, not something that you would just do on a basement on a Saturday night, you know, kind of thing. One's popped up foul. That one just missed somebody's pristine Jeep out there. I think that was mere inches away from hitting that fella's Jeep.
Yeah. That's a sweet ride. You don't want to mess that up.
No. I've seen far too many foul balls hit by parents who don't know that they're in a vulnerable parking spot. We've even taken a couple of dents to our car doors from time to time.
Yep.
That one is high. 1-2. Ground ball out to short, and a throw to second is in time, but Pittman brings home a handful of runs. They lead by 7 after 4.
Number 30, Aaron Wells.
Aaron Wells leading off the top of the 5th for Maple Shade as Pittman put home a handful of runs as they lead 9-2. You're in the top of the 5th inning. You're in the second half of this one from Alcyon Park. Ground ball to third, nice hop. And the throw to first by Shanahan is in time, 1 down. This brings up Jason Garwood.
Jason Garwood.
Garwood, the junior, lines it in the left center field, and that one's going to be a base hit. His 12th of his junior campaign, 12 for 39 with a 289 average. He gets on base on the first pitch. Screaming one out to left.
Now batting number 3, Chase Renteria.
So here's Chase Renteria, 0 for 2 as he reached on an error by the left fielder Kubat and struck out in the third. Going down to second base, and in there is Garwood. He got around the tag, and Rue was just a little bit off there. So he gets in there safely. One, two. Popped up. Out towards the left side of the infield, calling for it is Stranahan. He makes the catch. And there's 2 down.
Now batting number 15, Alex Morales.
And here's Alex Morales. Was hit by a pitch back in the third. Number 5 hitter for Maple Shade. Really not a whole lot of wind, but a quiet ballpark here tonight. A lot less windy than the Joe Lang games that we were covering where you almost were flown away.
Yeah.
Like, you know that whole thing from, I think it was 15 years ago, the conspiracy theory about the boy in the, what was it, like the foil balloon or something like that?
Yeah, they thought he was up in there.
They thought he was up in there.
It was
Everybody,
a hoax.
it was a hoax, yeah.
But I almost really did go up there.
Yeah, the wind really almost got you, but I don't know how anybody, looking back, I don't know how anybody would have believed that that boy in the balloon was real. That's going to be a ground ball that's going to shoot through Rue into left, and that'll put runners on the corners. Straying off of first is Morales, but he retreats, and we're going to have Maple Shade in a prime position to score here
Now
for
batting
Nate
number
Veazey.
34, Nate Veazey.
I think the first famous hoax that I was like old enough to remember was the Manti Te'o saga. That one's in the dirt.
I don't remember that one.
So Manti Te'o was a player on the defensive side of the ball for the San Diego Chargers, and people were mourning the loss of his girlfriend, who he was about to marry. But it turns out that it was, here we go, ground ball out to third, picked up, throw to first, is in time, and the side is retired. I'll tell you during the break. You can look it up on Google for everyone that's watching at home. But we go to the bottom of the 5th, 9-2 Pittman. Bottom of the 5th inning, Pittman leads by 7 over the Maple Shade Wildcats. As we bring up Braden Yorty, 9 men came to the plate for Pittman in the bottom half of the 4th. And a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4 came home to score. So Yorty gets his 3rd at-bat of the day. This broadcast is brought to you by Paroli's Printing and Bantles, Banners, Signs, and Apparel. A true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. If you need graduation lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. 1-0 count to Yorty, and make that a 2-0 count, as that one was upstairs. 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Panthers. It'll be Yorty, Jackson Austin, and Kyle Kubat. Quickly 3-0. That's ball 4.
Now batting for Pittman, number 7, Jackson Austin.
Throw back to first, nothing going on there for Yorty. As he walks, bringing up Jackson Austin. First pitch to Austin. Line drive to right, that's a base hit. Back-to-back singles as Pittman gets themselves in a groove here in the bottom of the 5th, up by 7.
Now batting for Pittman, number 25, Kyle Kubat.
So runners on first and second for Kubat. He's reached base all 3 times, but in a bit of an unusual way, led off the ball game with a drop 3rd strike. But he was out at second on a fielder's choice, homered in the 2nd, and scored thanks to a walk in the 4th. Foul ball. Two, 1. Runner on first and second for Pittman. Upstairs, 3 and 1. And there's a walk. Bases are loaded for Braden Sharkey. And this will make sure no more room is at the end.
I don't think they ready, and I know she know me. I performance like
Stop laughing, man. Our producer over here is dancing to all of the walk-up songs in her chair.
And laughing at herself. Because I can't dance.
It's a good thing not on camera.
I know. People wouldn't be tuning in.
I think people would be blocking us on YouTube.
Improper content.
There are a couple of baseball games that can't be viewed in Russia because of copyrighted music that's played, so apologies to all of our Russian viewers. Only a few though, so it's 1 and 1 to Sharky. This is the part of the game where we have too much fun for our own good. Here's a line drive to left. That's a base hit. It'll go out to left. Voro picks it up, going to second, and getting in there, standing up, Braden Sharkey, 2-run double. And Pittman, believe it or not, is already 90 feet away from a 5-inning mercy rule. Infield's going to be in here as they're going to try to save the game, which, if we started at like 4:10, means we're going to have an under 2-hour game, if the current trends hold.
Yeah.
But with Sharkey's double, could mean anything really. 2-run double there, scoring Yordi and Sharkey. And here is Devaney looking to end it. 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. This is inside versus Nick Stanton. By the way, when the game ends, if the game ends, stay tuned for the DWB postgame show brought to you by Doug Does Anything, for the player that can do anything. There's a grounder foul, and it's 1-1. Yeah, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. For anything, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call. As back to the plate, ball game. How about it? Talk about a quick way to end things. A wild pitch to the backstop is what's going to end this game in 5 innings, as Pittman gets to take care of business early. In just an hour and, 30 minutes? How long was this game?
Well, we were on for an hour 54, so
yeah.
a little less than that.
How about it? Pittman beats Maple Shade 12-2, as Stephen Devaney doesn't even get to bat before the end of the game. He gets maybe on a 1-1 count, and then the wild pitch ends it. Stay tuned for the DWB postgame show, as our player of the game, presented by Doug Does Anything, for the player that can do anything, is coming up next, right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Maple Shade falls to Pittman 12-2 in 5 innings. Great game for the Panthers today. Man, bringing home most of the heavy lumber is going to be our player of the game, presented by Doug Does Anything, for the player that can do anything. Stephen Devaney, the junior right-hander, did all 5 innings on the mound, did an excellent job, and collected your 100th career hit in the process. 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. How does that 100th career hit feel to you?
It's pretty cool, especially being a junior. Didn't really know if I'd be able to get it coming in freshman year, but it's pretty cool to get through just 3 years.
Being able to be that varsity starter as a freshman also helped, and not having that, I mean, like for us both being juniors, our COVID year was 8th grade going into 9th. I was all virtual my freshman year, didn't really get any broadcasting experience in, but for you being able to get this milestone and 100 strikeouts in just 3 years, really an incredible accomplishment. And it seems like everybody today worked together as a team. Almost everybody got on base at least once, looking on my scorecard. In fact, everybody got on base at least once. Even like a guy like Engstrom, who might have gone 0 for 2, still got a walk. Everybody did their part today. And after the 10-6 win versus Clayton, Pittman is now 12-7. You guys are on a good roll, 3rd or 4th in the power points, depending on how this Pennsville game goes later on this week. How are you guys feeling overall as a team this season with the rhythm of everything and being able to knock off wins like these? How does it feel for you as a team?
Good. I think we're starting to get hot at the right time. Started off a little bit slow, a couple bad losses, but starting to turn things around.
I mean, that 12-9 game versus Woodstown, that was the first one that I had covered. And it seems like that Pittman, in the month that has passed between the Woodstown game and this game that we covered today, a lot has changed. It's not about the strengths of the opponent, it's about the strength of you guys. It's about the strength of the Pittman baseball team. And you guys have been able to really drive the point home that you guys are here to win, here to stay, and also some really good pitching performances out there as well, not just from you, but from the entire staff. How did you feel on the mound today?
Felt good. Was able to get the first pitch over a lot for strikes and all that, and off speed wasn't the best, but still got it done.
And see, that's something that is a really good quality to have as a pitcher, is to admit when you know that there's something that's not right about what's going on. Because if there's something that you know, like as you said, the off speed, if it's not right, then it's not right. And you know that what you got to do to fix it, and you know what's wrong, you know what's right. Being able to identify the issue is really the first step of getting back into the rhythm. But the 12-2 score doesn't really show me that there were a whole lot of problems at all. But really, with Pittman's offense really helping a lot there. Kyle Kubat, his first high school homer, that was great. I didn't even notice until the top of the 3rd when I looked at my scorecard, and I noticed that was his first home run as a high schooler. That was really nice for him, and being able to celebrate with his teammates and everything like that. How do you feel the chemistry is this year with Pittman? Do you feel that these guys are great out there?
Yeah, we're real close. We like being around each other. There's no problems really. It's a lot of fun.
And that's the great thing about a small school. Me being from Audubon, you being from Pittman, both small school guys who everybody knows everybody. And it's really just a great baseball community out there. But for you guys, just 3 more regular season games left until the playoffs. How do you think this team feels going into what will be the most pivotal regular season week of the season?
We got a couple big games at Pennsville, Delran, I forget the other one, but
Overbrook.
Overbrook, yeah, it's Friday. But we're starting to play good at the best time of the year, so hope we can keep going in the playoffs.
Hope we can keep it going too. Thank you, Stephen. Congratulations on your milestone. You can go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you.
It's been a good one. The final score here from Pittman is Maple Shade 2 and the Panthers 12. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow with Audubon and Haddonfield from the Hank Greenberg Field in Audubon at 4 p.m. We don't have a game on Friday. No Camden Cats.